And I got to preface it with, let me see how I'm going to go through it, tell it. I have a friend who worked for Steven Spielberg back in, I would say, the late 80s, mid 80s to late 80s, as a producer. She was young, and she actually worked on Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. So she knows everybody. She knew George, she knew Harrison, she knew Sean Connery grabbed her ass one day, and a real woman just goes, ha, isn't bothered by that. And I'm like, I wish I could have my ass grabbed by Sean Connery. Anyway, so she knew Kathleen Kennedy. Hey, Mazeris. And I know a lot of stories that are just like this. In fact, I told her one. Very funny. But so this is not a surprise for me, but we all know who Kennedy is, what she is. Her husband is a potted plant. Apparently there's some rumor going around that she threw a temper tantrum about South Park or something. And if you notice, if you're on Twitter X, a lot of people are on there defending her. Now, it's probably the South Park thing that's causing this, but you have to see it, T.S. Wade. You have to see it. A friend of mine sent me an article from Red State. Brandon Morse wrote it. All right, look, I'm going to preface this with the story. When I was working for the Leadership Institute, one of the guys that started Red State, Mike Krimpaski, was a friend of mine. We would go smoke cigars together and get really drunk in Adams Morgan and raise particular hell. So it was, but I kind of quit reading it because there's some, I'm so sick of politics. But Brandon Morris wrote an article about Kennedy and South Park. And I said, yeah. I asked her, did you see what your former boss did to her? So I sent her one of the videos I have from the Los Angeles premiere where he completely ignores her. Now, anybody who's worked in Hollywood knows when something like that happens, you're up there and you get completely ignored, and you're the name above the title as producer, you're getting erased. You're getting canceled. And my friend laughed her ass off. And she said she's a horrible, horrible producer. And then she dropped the C word, the see you next Tuesday cunt word. Okay. We talked about it. And she said, for the first 5 years, she's pleasant. And then we started arguing about stories because she literally, what my friend said is, Kennedy doesn't know anything about telling stories. Okay. I'm not shocked. Is anybody shocked? No. And once Kennedy turned on her, that was it. Done. Boom. Gone. All right. Then Kathy hated her. Okay. We talked a little bit more. And I told her a story I had heard. And I said, do not tell anybody who it was. But suffice it to say, more stories about Kennedy's, I don't know if it's obnoxiousness, incompetence, condescending attitude towards people who know more about movie making and stories. From what I heard, you could have a really great script and she'd still want to fuck with it because it wasn't her script. And Steven Spielberg said in not so many words a long time ago that she's not a creative, and she's not. And I'm going to talk about that. Actually, Mazur's brought up a really good point here. I got a what if. So you look at the South Park episode, and, Paul Chato said they didn't go far enough. And I'm like, they were skirting getting sued there. Okay. They were skirting getting sued. Okay. If they'd have gone as far as I would have, because I would have just said, I would have, you know what I'm saying? I would have gone way further. Like, this is the line. I would have gone past the line, over the horizon. You'd never see me again. She would be obliterated. And I did obliterate her. All right. So Jason Hunt at Sci-Fi for you, or for me, basically is looking to up a rumor that Kennedy had some sort of went ballistic, had a conniption over South Park. Well, I can see it. But she was in Mexico last week when it aired. So did she just find out? I mean, these are questions that are important, but it's kind of, you know. And then we've got, the story that Doomcock said, and this is actually a good one. This is actually a great rumor. So Bob Iger's like, well, he's got the choice of completely tearing down the Galaxy's Edge Hotel and doing something different with that piece of property, or adapting it to something else. And the rumor Doomy put out there was this. Bob Iger thinks they should adapt the hotel to being the Tantive 5, and it's going to be a laser tag thing, immersive thing, where you have red team and green team. And red team, of course, is the Imperials, is Vader's boarding party. And you are, if you're on the good guy side, the rebel side, you are defending Leia. Okay. This is the most insulting thing I've ever seen in my life. And if they do it, her head will explode. Okay. That's a rumor. I'm not sure if I buy it, but, I don't need, if they take the tax write-off and bury it, that's good enough for me, So here's another question. How many people are on X? Put a 1 in the comments if you are. If you are on X, if you are on Facebook and you belong to any Star Wars pages, there's a lot of people wandering around defending her, to the point where they sound like sexually frustrated fanboys or girls. Anyway, and it's fascinating to see. Now, I'm going to just, the logical, the obvious is the South Park episode, right? It went on there. I had people say, yeah, well, they went after the Phantom Menace too, blah, blah, blah. Of course they did. No one is safe from them, okay? They parody and rip on everybody. However, they did go after her. And they did make her look completely angry and stupid. And it's kind of interesting. Now, I heard it only took him a week to write it. I would have said, make her worse. Just a little bit worse. Okay? Because look, people reacted badly to TFA. I mean, let's put it this way. When you walk out of a Star Wars movie and no one is talking except little kids are going, why did he kill his dad? And and there are old ladies muttering to themselves about the awfulness that movie is, okay? But still, look, South Park is the show that lampooned Barbara Streisand, Mecca Streisand. Okay. They lampoon Donald Trump. They lampoon Joe Biden. They lampoon, probably lampoon Toby Keith. It doesn't matter, you know. And so the white knighting is very interesting to me because I really honestly think that people are afraid that she's leaving. She's already done. All right. Yeah, and that's true. And Mazeros is true. Now, I got yelled at because I said Trey and Matt are Republicans, and this moron on X, it's like, no, they're not. It's like, they are. They've been on lists. Look, being a Republican doesn't mean you're some Mormon hiding in her house with 75 kids. All right. No one in Washington that was in the Republican Party when I was there working for Army was upset about South Park. We laughed our asses off, okay? Because it was a show meant for young people who look at the world cynically, all right? And when they lampooned the fans, look, there was a fandom menace, okay? Well, it is. And those two, I mean, when they walked into the Academy Awards wearing dresses, it was like Gwyneth Paltrow's dress and I think a Jennifer Lopez dress. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. They looked ridiculous and it was great. It was like to these pretentious assholes that make movies who think their shit doesn't stink, okay? But yeah, so there's all kinds of stuff going on. I mean, the story I told my friend, I can't tell. But it goes right along with what she told me, all right? And it's like, and Bob Iger could not do what this person wanted him to do because that no firing clause in her contract. So what I think is, like I said before, I think is they're waiting for her to leave, and she's got to be talked into it. So if you're on X, go to the doctor, LEDOCTER, Frank Marshall, and say, when is your wife going to announce she's done? We're sick and tired of this shit. Okay. Tell them it's not fair to the fans. It's not fair to Lucasfilm. It's not fair to the actors and actresses who are waiting to sign on contracts so they can start making TV shows and movies. What? It doesn't belong to her. Okay? Tell him that. He's the only person she'll probably listen to, and she'll probably kick his ass anyway. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about something Maze and I were having a discussion about. He was doing AI stuff and coming up with hilarious pictures of Kennedy as a Sith Lord and Kennedy as Kyle Ron. And it suddenly dawned on me how much Adam Driver, you are cool, how much Adam Driver actually looks like Kathleen Kennedy. Oh yeah, Kennedy and Kyle Ron in drag. And he really does look like Kennedy. And I came up with a theory, just for fun and giggles. What if Kyle Ron was also an avatar for Kennedy? All right. It's not the perfect Daisy Ridley Ray that kills Harrison Ford. It's Kyle Ron. And if you think about all the crap that Kennedy did to Star Wars, yeah, okay. I'm going to ask my friend next time I talk to her, is it possible Harrison Ford basically told her he wasn't interested in her, you know? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's, oh God, Nasa's got it right. So I'm going to ask if it's possible that somewhere before my friend started working for Spielberg that Kennedy threw herself at Harrison and he was like, no. And the reason why is because he was with his wife Melissa, and hey, Sci-Fi Universe. So anyway, and there's also a rumor going around that she's begging Nelson Peltz for help. Oh yeah, definitely Maze. And it's like, why would he? Why would he ever listen to her? All right, if I don't know if this is true or not. I'm like, no, I don't. I mean, it's like he put another $1 billion into Disney, and now he's got Queen Kathy begging for her job back. You know, it's just to me, I mean, it's all getting really interesting, and really just it's getting really interesting now. Today's the last day of October. As you know, 11 years ago today, George Lucas sold Lucasfilm to Disney, and it would be the first. This would be the start of our contract. Okay, or it starts or ends on this day. So, do we have a year? Is it over now? Again, go on Twitter and ask Bob Iger why he's not announcing anything going on with Lucasfilm. We all know there's something going on with Lucasfilm, right? Right, we do, right? So why isn't he announcing stuff? When you've got, let's see, Lord Tornaga saying that his friends are talking about it, you know, you've got, I mean, everybody in Hollywood knows, and then you've got Gina Carano opening up her mouth about South Park and basically not saying in as many words that to people they're giving her shit, you have no fucking idea what you're talking about. And they don't. Now, again, I no longer give a flying fuck what Gina Carano does. Okay, but also I understand why she's doing why she came out and said something. We look, Sci-Fi Universes, we need an official announcement. Okay, now Conrad is in Pennsylvania this week, and I might catch up and have lunch with him on Thursday. I gotta find a place to eat in Harrisburg or somewhere, and I wanna talk to him about all this stuff. I mean, well, he does his Patreon. He goes on to the Writer Brothers and another channel. But as far as being part of Midnight's Edge anymore, all I can say is he was treated really badly by one of the lead guys there. You can imagine who it was. And he won't go on there, and I don't think he'll ever be on Doomcock anymore. Doomy wasn't being honest with him about stuff and won't basically the Black Pill blobs have really networked hard and lied to everybody about what's been going on. And they make a lot of people money when they show up. So there you go. And again, look, you're going to go and get the people that bring in money, that perpetuate crap. Okay. And perpetuating crap and lies and rage porn. That's what gets people to watch your show. And you're not going to get that from me. It's been obvious that despite no official announcements that something major has happened at Lucasfilm. You know, you've seen a lot of the grounded monkeys fade off of X. I think they all went to Blue Skies so they can all look. All it takes is somebody to sneak onto their private chats and copy everything and give it to Disney, and they're fucked. Okay, get the fuck. If you have, and they're probably like planning on how to fuck with Favreau, but he'll probably fire them all. And he can't. Look, I think the deal is they can't fire anybody at Lucasfilm until ding dong the bitch is dead. Okay, and that's what they're waiting for. And I don't know if we have a year, if we have to wait a year for her to go. All right, I honestly, it could be Jan. I don't know. I'm done. No predictions. We are in a point of stasis, and we're like frozen like Jedi in the trophy room at Fortress Inquisitoris. You know, we also have to wait for announcements for the actors' strike to get over. I want to talk a little bit about Fran Drescher. People give me shit about my voice. Excuse me. When you're acting, listen to her. Oh my God. I mean, and she's an idiot. Here's what I heard through Cameron on through Cameron, and he posted on his Patreon. Fran Drescher brings a squishy toy with her to the negotiations and sets it in front of Bob Iger, David Zaslav, the head of Universal, and Ted Sarandos of Netflix, and tells them, my squishy is watching you. This is who, hi, hey, PD York is in the house. They can't announce it until the actors' strike is over, Sci-Fi Universes. I just, it's like, this is who's negotiating your contract? This sociopath? No. A sociopath would never do that. Psychopath! It's like, really? You walk into negotiations with Bob Iger, the lady that runs Universal, David Zaslav, Ted Sarandos, and there's somebody else. And you put this stupid, it's a heart with little legs and little hands. And it's like kind of like a stuffed animal, only more squishy. My squishy is watching you. They're supposed to take her seriously? I'd have gotten up and left. Like, I can't talk to her. It's like talking to a 5-year-old. So we gotta wait for them to, no, she's, I don't think you'd ever see Mark Hamill walk into negotiations with a Luke Skywalker doll, okay? In fact, if somebody walked into negotiations and Harrison Ford is on the other side of the desk, they walked in with a Han Solo doll or an Indiana Jones doll, he'd get up and leave, okay? I mean, what? You know, and this, could you imagine? That would be fucking funny as shit. Okay. I also want to address another thing. I've noticed a lot of trolls showing up. And it's like, look, don't write a book if you can't articulate your yourself. Because, no. Don't write a one word or one line statement and be a dick about it. Okay? Don't come here to troll. Okay? Don't. Because you will be banned, flamed, and banned. You know, it's just so yeah. I mean, I'm sick of I'm sick of this shit, and I think I know what's going on. And I think I know. I think Mazurs would agree with me that there's probably somebody we talk about a lot behind the scenes, getting their buddies to go and do this because they don't have anything to talk about. All right, so all I can say is thank you for amplifying my volume. All right, but yeah, so everything that you've thought about Kathleen Kennedy is true. All right, and I do believe as we get on further that and it goes further that we'll hear more, and it'll be look. The moment she's gone, the trades will go crazy. It doesn't matter if she's a woman. All right, that shit is virtue signaling. It's not real. Okay, the moment Disney says to THR, to Deadline, to Variety, flame her ass, they will flame her ass. Okay, and it will not be pretty. All right. So there's that. Let's see. I've got beef burgundy cooking in the oven for dinner tonight, and I've actually got to get the pumpkins set up. They look fine. I'll post a picture with all the lights outside. Hopefully, maybe we'll get one. We have? I did not know that. Cool. Oh God, I don't want to see it. Oh God. This guy Jacob is a. Thank you, PD. This guy Jacob Suggs is a guy on Twitter X who will not. I mean, he's making money to talk about nothing but the sequel trilogy. Okay, and he's insufferable. Okay, he did block me from replying to him, but he didn't. I have another account that I use. He hasn't blocked that. But like I said, the sequel trilogy is getting a lot of big ups from a bunch of accounts that look like they're not bots, but they look like they've been activated to do what? I don't know. See, that's why I think something is going on here. That's why I think there's something that we don't know. And because Sparrow has been so quiet, people are like, well, what's going on? And, I'm going to tell you guys, he can't put out a lot of stuff right now. And it's that's the way it is. But, I know it is. And they're going to, look, I think if they put it in its own pocket universe, these little fuckers are going to scream like you took their favorite lollipop from them when they're 5 years old. They're going to scream like a kid in the middle of the Eucharistic liturgy, which is the most sacred part of Mass, and mommy has to get up and take them to the cry room. That's what they're going to do. Everybody's going to look at them because that's all it is. Look, the sequel trilogy, if you look at the people who like it, if you go through their constant bullshit. They have pronouns in their names. They want to be validated. They don't know how to validate themselves, so they validate themselves through fucking characters in a TV show or a movie. And it's like, how does one tell somebody that the only person who can validate you is you? You know, the person you see in the mirror every day? You know, it's just, it's so utterly amazing to me watching people react in this fashion that I can't even. That, you know, PD York is right, that could happen. Just ignore it. But I think a definite, not an, you know, I would love an eraser because sequel trilogy fan tears and watching Pablo, knowing Pablo screaming, crying rent his garments would be absolutely satisfying to the point of, I really don't need anything else for the next 10 years. Just living on that alone. That would be actually, to me, as big, if not bigger, than Hillary Clinton getting beaten by Trump. I'll tell you that story. I'm watching, it's 2 a.m. Her campaign manager, I can't remember his name, the pervert, the pedophile, goes up there and tells all the Democrats to go home. They weren't going to announce, they weren't going to say she conceded. And we all knew she lost. They did not, look, I think in some way the Democrat Party wanted her to lose, all right? Because she is fucking, you think Biden is bad? What about just 1 year of Hillary Clinton being president? You know, not listening to her husband. Well, yeah, of course he hates Hidalgo. Hidalgo hates him too. Hidalgo hates Dave Filoni. I mean, look, there are 3 people that work at Lucasfilm who'd all do the same job. Dave Filoni, Leland Chee, who I really like, he's a cool dude, and that piece of Chilean shit, Pablo Hidalgo, all right? And he can't be removed. Yeah, it did. I mean, yeah. You know, I think it did Mazars. But, you know, there's nothing that they can do until Hillary. Kathy's gone. And, you know, when the 5 horsemen were asked, what about Kathy? And they said, they were replied to, it's none of your concern. You'll hear about it when it's announced. So, well, I would do it. I mean, I would do it. And I would probably have a live broadcast on the Star Wars channel here. That's what I would do with everybody at Lucasfilm, and I'd invite some YouTubers that need a reality check on both sides. And I would basically lay down the law. All right, this is not tolerable. Okay, you know, first off, I tell the black pill blobs, you are not going to get your headcanon. Okay, so stop it. We have to save the franchise. Okay, this is a serious thing. We have professionals working here. We have people who understand the franchise up and down in this. You know, George Lucas standing behind you. George is here as an advisor and consultant to help. Okay, Dave and John, you know, are my right hand men. Okay, and they're going to be a lot. I mean, I tell the Lucasfilm employees, look to your right, left, front, behind you, because a lot of the people that you see aren't going to be there tomorrow. And I would be very honest, and I tell the YouTubers, You know, I'm glad that you say you're Star Wars fans, but when you're so upset, you don't even give something a chance. It really doesn't help you. They are like brothers, you know. They really are. Anyway, I gotta go. My husband's home soon. I gotta check dinner. I gotta get the pumpkins outside. I'll show you what the pumpkins look like. No, they're not on TV, but here they are. See? And let me tell you, they're heavy as hell. They're heavy as, thank you, Primeval. I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat. In fact, Bob Iger, if you want to hire me to run Lucasfilm, I want full medical, full dental, and $200,000 a year. I'm not going to ask for, you know, I'm not going to ask for anything more than that. I don't need anything more than that. And also, a good hotel room, permanent hotel room, either in both Los Angeles, close to Burbank, and then another one up in San Francisco, close to Lucasfilm there. Okay, and then a car, and that's it. That's all I'd ever. That's all I'd ask for. Okay, because, you know, I'm pretty easy. You know, $200,000. That's a lot of money, but they could afford it. I'm not asking for much, but I would say I get the only other thing I want is the right to hire and fire anybody I want. All right. And then I would go to work. And that list that we got in January of the HR issues and all the people that were on the list to be fired would go. They would be gone. Okay, because they're worthless. All right. Anyway, so, all right, I gotta go. Again, I'll tell you the story that my friend said. She said Kennedy was really nice to her the first 5 years she was with Spielberg, and then she just lost her shit and started treating her like shit. And my friend said she's a terrible producer and a C word, and doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about when it's talking about stories, which goes along with what I was told about somebody else who knew Bob Iger. All right. Yes, he does. He really does. Yeah, I'd have him come in, you know. I know, but I love Star Wars, you know, and I'm not a greedy bitch. You know, I look at cliffside houses in Malibu as being gay and stupid, and why would I want that? Pretentious. You know, I like my house. Why would I want anything else? All right, anyway, gotta run. You guys be good, behave. Happy Halloween. And, you know, just keep watching, because stuff is going on. We just haven't heard anything yet. See you guys around the galaxy. Or like that. Smuggler's salute.